Welcome to December. I absolutely love this time of year. It's just my favourite time of year, full stop. I love all the Christmas lights. I love the Christmas food. I love the Christmas drinks. It's when I take my big holiday every year, to be honest. So it's just my absolute favourite time of year, and I thought it would be really fun to do the 12 days of Christmas. I saw someone on YouTube who had done the 12 Scents of Christmas, and I am totally borrowing that idea from her, so I will link up her awesome video underneath. And I just really thought it would be fun to do my version of that kind of thing. So my 12 days of Christmas, I'm going to start with an absolute classic Christmassy scent. This one, annoyingly, Yog Nog from Lush, is technically a very limited edition. They don't bring it out every year. My bottle is quite old and battered. It's probably on its way out, to be honest, because I think I'm supposed to use it by the end of this year. That's not going to happen, as you can see, because this is an incredibly strong perfume. It's hard to describe this one, because if you've had Yog Nog, the actual shower gel, this is a slightly different scent to that. It's got the same name, it's got the same kind of vibe, but I'd say when you first spray this one, to me it smells like a panettone, which is like a delicious, sweet, spiced bread with a sort of brioche feel to it. But it's very, very pungent and strong, this one. So they don't really have much on Fragrantica about this one. However, if you look at the body spray version of this, the notes include butterscotch, cinder toffee, spice clove bud, and delicate ylang ylang. Now, I'm quite sure in the body wash that there's like a nutmeggy smell. It's a bit more custardy than this perfume. Now, they don't have this on Lush at the moment. However, I'm pretty sure that they do have it on eBay. They've got quite a lot of 10ml sprays of it at the moment, because I suspect that it was in the subscription box that Lush can do, and I think people got it this Christmas because it started popping up a lot. That's why I put it in this video. So this is the first scent of Christmas, as it were, because this is just it's an absolute beast though. You've got to be careful of this. If you're sensitive to smells, this might not be the one for you. If I'm going to put that one over here. So next on the list, let's have a little look. I'm going to go for... Oh, okay. This is one of my more expensive perfumes. Now, probably not everyone has this kind of tradition, but we do tend to have a Muscat wine in my family at Christmas. And Yves Saint Laurent in Love Again literally has Muscat grapes in it, so it is an absolutely beautiful and delicious perfume. It's quite a light one. It's around between 75, probably more now, for a bottle of this, and I can't say it's the longest lasting. However, this used to be one of my signature scents. I absolutely love it. As you can see on the side, hopefully you can see, the notes in this, according to the bottle, are cassis, mandarin, raisin muscat, rose pivoine, and myrrh. So I think that's blackcurrant and peony. So yes, there's blackcurrant, mandarin orange, middle notes grapes, rose, peony, and base notes of blackberry and musk. So it's not got like too much wood in it. It's not like a difficult fragrance to wear by any means. It's a very, very pretty scent. And it really reminds me of a kind of orangey, sweet Muscat wine, like a dessert wine, which is just something that I've always enjoyed with my family. We sometimes have black Muscat, we sometimes have white Muscat, but this one, the Muscat grape, I think is the strongest note in this. So it's a gentle, beautiful sweetness, and it's just a little bit boozy. It's very pretty. Really, really like it. I think it's a bit of a classic. So as you can see, I've got my little lights everywhere, so I've got to try and find positions for the perfumes. Now, sticking with the wine theme, I don't actually have, and I haven't managed to find a perfume that is actually mulled wine, but I have a couple that give me that kind of vibe. So let's start with, just give this a quick spray. There is something about Loved Up by Oriflame from the Feel Good range that just really, really reminds me of kind of a spicy wine. And the reason for that is that it's plum, black pepper and sandalwood. So it's got a beautiful, oh, it's making my nose tingle. Oh, it's sweet. It's more like, it's kind of glue viney, you know. It's got a lovely sweet plum that's very, very berried. And then that black pepper, it's not really peppery. It's much more of a, it's just a warmth. It's got like a warm, spicy feel to it. So, although this is the third day of Christmas I'm doing here, I have two options for this, because the other one that kind of gives me that vibe, if I just move this one over here, is Cherimola by the Scent Doctor. This is a very, very, very fruity fragrance. And there's just something about it, and I think it's because there's a little hint of cinnamon in this one that means that it's just got an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous vibe to it. So the notes in this, again, this isn't on Fragrantica, and you can get these for about a tenner for 100ml. It's an absolute mega bargain. So the top notes here are pear, apple, Cherimola and cinnamon. Now Cherimola is like a Barbados cherry, so it does have a slight cherry berry kind of scent to it, but it's got a slight tartness. It's very, very pretty and fresh. So there's, like I said, there's cinnamon, which I think is what is giving this a slightly mulled winey vibe to me. Middle notes passion flower, ylang ylang and jasmine, and base notes tonka bean, balsam, woods and musk. So obviously you've got like the sweetness from the tonka bean. The balsam gives it like a slight kind of, well, like a balsamic vibe, which I think is what's making me think of wine. It doesn't smell really boozy. It's more like it would be more like a cherry brandy, but like a super, super chill one. And I'm just going to tell you, I always put cherry brandy in my mulled wine and in my sangria. So that's day 3. That's my mulled wine kind of flavours. And then sticking with the kind of spicy, fruity beverage. Oh, so pretty. This is Aqua, Colonia, red apple and chili. And it is just, it's a very sweet red apple that you totally could think of as kind of like a non-alcoholic cider kind of smell. Now, it does have chili in it, so it has a slight vegetal bite at first, but it's pretty much as soon as it dries down, all that chili does is give you like this amazing kind of warmth and spice, and it's just so kind of, I had it in my autumn winter videos, I think, because it's just like got a lovely, lovely warm wintry vibe, and it really, really makes me think of kind of spiced apple juice. Absolutely love it. Really easy to wear. This is one you'll have to look for on eBay, because this was a limited edition. However, you can definitely still get it on eBay in the UK, so that's why I went for that one. Okay, next up. Now, this is lovely. This is another one you'll have to find on eBay. Beautiful. This is quite a light perfume, but it is absolutely worth looking out for. So, I've tried to make it Christmassy lighting, but I think it's just a bit dark. Let me try and lighten this up a bit, guys. So, this is Art Collection number 8 by Jacomo, and the notes in this are top notes of cardamom, tea and ginger, middle notes dried fruit, milk and freesia, base notes cinnamon, amber and white honey. Now, I think that this particular perfume smells like, if you can imagine it, a minced pie tea. So it has like that lovely light fresh tea note, but because of the dried fruits and the cinnamon and the ginger and the cardamom and actually the milk, it gives it like a really gourmand quality that really reminds me of delicious sweet mince pies, but without that kind of biscuitiness, you know, without the kind of pastry. It's just, yeah, it's exactly what I imagine a mince pie cup of tea would smell like, and it's just so glorious and fun. Absolutely love it. Then we're going to stick with Jacomo, and this one is Art Collection number 9. It's little sister here. So number 9 is a much stronger scent. It lasts for longer than number 8 because it's got heavier notes in it. So this one is top notes of orange, pink pepper, Amalfi lemon, middle notes of mango, praline, base notes of cinnamon, sandalwood and vanilla. So you can see it's still got those kind of Christmassy spices. I think this one has like a spiced Christmassy cake kind of vibe to it. It's almost like, you know, if you can imagine carrot cake without too much of the frosting, but kind of leaning more Christmassy because it's got lots of orange in it, and there's like, oh, it's a really good smell, this one. It lasts for a long time. I would say this one's like on the unisex side, because it is a little bit woody, and I think there's something about the pepper and the cinnamon that kind of moves this into being a little bit more unisex, but it's super easy to wear. Another one that you'll have to find on eBay, because again, like, these are quite old perfumes now, but they still smell great. So that is just delicious. It's definitely worth looking into both of these. So let's then have a look. So now I've got a bunch of perfumes that remind me of sweets from when I was a kid, or like every Christmas we'd always get these kind of special little treats. And for me, one of the absolute classics, I had it in my stocking every single year, I always get them at Christmas, is of course a chocolate orange. And as most people know, this is Boss, Hugo Boss, the scent for her, Private Accord. So Private Accord is straight up, when you first spray it anyway, just chocolate orange. It absolutely smells like a Cherries chocolate orange, and everyone in the UK knows what a Cherries chocolate orange is. I'm sure that everyone used to have them at Christmas. They're an absolute classic. The notes of this are listed as top notes of mandarin orange, middle notes coffee and osmanthus, base notes cacao and tonka bean. Now, I'm not going to tell you this lasts for a long time, because it doesn't, but just even if you're only getting 20 minutes of chocolate orange, it's totally worth it. It's such a pretty perfume. It's so yummy, so chocolatey, it's so delicious, you smell so edible. And then joyously, when it dries down, it just starts to smell a little bit more like the scent, the original scent for her, or like the intense version that I have, which is kind of you get a bit more of the osmanthus, you get a bit more coffee, and you get a bit more cocoa, but you're starting to lose that kind of orangey vibe. But it's still totally delicious. You still got like a chocolatey coffee vibe. But at first, it's very, very orangey, and it's just absolutely scrumptious. So I'm going to try and squeeze this guy in here. Okay, now we're moving on to other sweets. Now, this one probably won't be much of a surprise, because, I mean, if you're talking about sweeties, this is Sweet from Lolita Lempika. I'm going to see if I can brighten this up a little bit, because it's getting a bit dark, isn't it? It's dark outside, to be honest. So this has a cherry lip gloss accord in it, which I always think reminds me of cherry lip balm, but at the same time it also has a kind of chocolate cherry vibe about it. So it's, you know, it's got that kind of dark chocolate dipped cherries, or just generally sweet. So if you get like a cherry fondant, you know, that kind of thing in dark chocolate, all kinds of yummy sweeties. So the notes here are top notes of sour cherry, sugar, middle notes of cacao, iris and angelica, and base notes of musk and cashmere wood. And for me personally, this gives me a little bit of a vibe of a Black Forest Gateau. And it's not because I think it actually smells like a Black Forest Gateau, but for me, chocolate and cherry always has those connotations, and I absolutely adore anything Black Foresty. It's like one of my absolute favourite puddings. So it's often something that we have like in December and we have in Christmas. To be honest, I've got one in the fridge right now, and I absolutely love them. And so this gives me that vibe, because it's very sweet. It does have a slight tartness because it's a sour cherry, but because of that cacao and the sugar, it's just syrupy, it's very sweet, it's very tasty. The cacao's really beautiful in this one, and it's super duper fun. We're going to stay with Lolita Lempika, because I also have something else which is a classic stocking filler. Oh, And that is, so this is Lolita Lempika. This is so sweet. And so sweet to me is just straight up sour cherries from Haribo. Now, we often would get little sweets, and even now, if you get like the stockings for my nephews, they're always gonna have Haribo in. And one of my favourite Haribos is sour cherry, and I think So Sweet just, it smells exactly like Haribo sour cherries. So the top notes here are raspberry leaf, sour cherry and mandarin orange. Middle notes, iris, rose and angelica. Base notes, mush, cashmerian and amberwood. And to be honest, I don't get a huge amount of other things here. It just has, it has that kind of chewy, sweet vibe about it. There is enough raspberry in it to really kind of push it in that kind of Haribo direction, but the sour cherry is really still there. It's absolutely full on sweeties. It's delicious, tasty and yummy, and I'm just really excited to wear this one, to be honest. Let's just make a little, there we go. So next up we have what I think of as my Turkish Delight perfume. Now, we always had Turkish Delight in the house at Christmas. That's normally because someone would buy it for my dad. And I'm talking about, you know, the boxes of the more traditional Turkish Delight that has the kind of powdered sugar on, and you get the rose and you get the lemon. So this for me is like a rose Turkish Delight. Now, rose Turkish Delight is a favourite of mine. I absolutely love Fry's Rose Turkish Delight, the one with the chocolate on the outside. This one doesn't have the chocolate. This is more like the traditional smell. So the top notes here are rose, damask rose and mandarin orange. Middle notes are iris, magnolia and cyclamen. Base notes are vanilla, musk and sandalwood. So just in case I didn't say it, this is a Vera Wang Embrace, and this is the rosebuds and vanilla. This isn't the original cap, this is a tester bottle, but you can get the full bottles. They're about £15. In the UK, you can get a bottle of this normally from Direct Cosmetics for about £5, maybe £6. And I just find this one easy to wear. It's like really chilled out. It's not massively strong, but I would say that the other alternative to this one would be Rose Jam from Lush. Now, that one doesn't work very well on my skin. It just doesn't really suit me, to be honest. So there's something about the geranium in it that doesn't sit right on me, and it starts to get a bit of a pea smell. But I know lots of people don't have that problem, and that one is even more of a kind of Turkish Delight smell than this. So, you know, if you're not so keen on Vera Wang Embrace, or if you want something a bit stronger that's going to last longer, then Rose Jam is your girl. Now, this is oil. This is by a company called Nuaim, and this is a perfume called Chocolate Musk. So this is just very tasty, just generally, to be honest, but the last time I was wearing it, I was thinking about what it smelled like, and I always think of this as smelling like a Rolo dessert. And if you're in the UK, you might know exactly what I'm talking about when I say a Rolo dessert. However, it also really reminds me of the Quality Street caramel toffee bars. You know, like in the Quality Street, you'll get the long ones in the gold wrapper, and it's like a kind of toffee in milk chocolate. And I think that's exactly what this smells like. Now, we always have Quality Street at Christmas. When I was younger, we'd either have Quality Street or roses. Nowadays, I've got two little nephews, and my mum tends to get roses and Quality Street, and sometimes some celebrations. You know, we're still a bit of a Cadbury's family, so she'll have Cadbury's chocolate on the tree. And I just think this one really, really reminds me of... Yeah, it really does, because it's not a particularly like high quality smelling caramel. It's very much like a kind of fudgy toffee smell with a little bit of chocolate. It's kind of more caramelly than it is chocolatey. So this isn't on Fragrantica either, because this is Al Nuaim. They don't really seem to have any Al Nuaim perfumes on Fragrantica. However, if I look at the notes here from another website, it says caramel vanilla, chocolate praline, cocoa, musk. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. And they describe it as like a vanilla chocolate mousse, but I would definitely describe this as like a caramel pudding, a caramel chocolate pudding. So it's just absolutely scrumptious. It's really a scrumptious smell. And I think this one's an absolute bargain as well. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to finish up. So the 12th day of Christmas. I haven't been counting as I've been going along, have I? I've got 2 perfumes here, and they are kind of, one's a good alternative to the other if one doesn't work for you. So we have Pumpkin Pie from Demeter and Cinnamon Bun from Demeter. Now, Cinnamon Bun is the one that kind of I'm the most excited about because it absolutely smells exactly like a cinnamon bun. Like exactly like a cinnamon bun. It even has that kind of slight butteriness from the white icing, and it has the white icing. It's very cinnamony. It's got a slight salty bread vibe to it, but it's not like ridiculously bready. The only issue I have with this particular perfume is that after a few minutes you start to get a bit of a burnt rubber smell on your skin, which I think is the case with quite a few Demeter perfumes for some reason. However, that doesn't last, it goes away, and then it just kind of dies down into just a sweet cinnamony kind of scent. The notes in Cinnamon Bun are listed as milk, cinnamon, wheat, vanilla and sugar. So it's really tasty. It smells exactly like a cinnamon bun. Like as soon as I sprayed it, I was like, wow, okay. They've really, really nailed that kind of delicious, moist, ridiculously sweet, very strong cinnamony smell, But the other thing I wanted to talk about was pumpkin pie. Now, pumpkin pie they have not really managed to nail in terms of the smell, because this is much more of a straight ahead cinnamon smell. So I would say that if you like the idea of a cinnamon perfume but you don't want to have it to be as gourmand as this, if you want a bit more of a kitcheny cinnamon smell, then this might be the one for you. It's not quite as sweet, it's not buttery, it actually doesn't have the kind of vibe of a pie crust, unlike a lot of Demeter perfumes. So the notes are listed here as being pumpkin, wheat, sugar, clove, cinnamon and ginger. But really I think the only things that come out here are the clove, cinnamon and ginger with a bit of sugar, and it's mainly cinnamon. So if you want just a straight up Christmassy cinnamon smell, pumpkin pie is the one for you. However, Cinnamon Bun for me personally I think is a little bit more exciting, it's a little more gourmand, but as I said, you might get that slight burnt rubber on your smell, so it's a little bit of a risk. However, they're both really fun. They're both super Christmassy. I think that I'm going to have a lot of fun this Christmas wearing all these really fun fragrances. There's going to be a lot of yummy smells in my house. When I go home for Christmas to see my family, I will have to wear the lighter stuff because my mum really doesn't, she gets headaches from perfumes, so she doesn't really like perfumes. And I will obviously be respectful of that. So on Christmas Day, I'm likely to go for something quite light. And it's probably going to be something like In Love Again or, one of my lighter perfumes. But in terms of the 12 days of Christmas, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm super excited for Christmas to start. I'm going to decorate and I'll be cooking, and I absolutely love making Christmas food. So this is just, like I said, my absolute favourite time of year. And I hope that this was fun for you guys.